Joe Bidenopoulos.
Bidenakis.
Bidenakis?
It's probably better. Mitsotakis, Bidenakis, I think that's probably.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Such a pleasure.
And I like to joke about being known as Joe Bidenopoulos in my Greek-American community in Delaware.
This is my first video update coming to you from downtown Athens, Greece on this Friday late morning. Let's talk about some news because we have a big story that broke yesterday that is tearing Greece apart. It is tearing apart the fabric of Greek society, and that is why I am here in Syntagma Square, Constitution Square, because the story that broke yesterday, well, this is a huge story, not only for the United States, but also for Greece, because yesterday, the U.S. House Republicans, they announced that they are opening up an investigation, a probe into U.S. President Joe Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son, and they are going to be investigating whether Joe Bidenopoulos took or was swayed by foreign investments, foreign dollars, and from the business activities of his family, specifically his son, Hunter Bidenopoulos, who is, by the way, Greece's second favorite son. And obviously this story has really affected Greece. The entire Greek society is talking about this on the streets. They're debating and discussing this at the cafes, inside of the shops. All of Greece is absolutely shocked that the U.S. House Republicans would dare to go after Greece's favorite son, Joe Bidenopoulos. And to be quite honest, I am here in Greece. I am in downtown Greece, in the center of Athens, and I have to be straight up with everybody that is watching this video. Say a prayer for Greece, everybody, because I don't know if Greece is going to be able to handle an investigation into Bidenopoulos. I just don't know if Greek society, if the Greek political class will be able to handle an investigation into the business dealings of the Bidenopoulos family. We are entering dangerous times here in Greece, and all I can tell everybody that is watching this video, all I can ask of you is to please send a prayer for Greece, because going after Bidenopoulos it's something that we never in a million years did we think that we would find a day, that we would see a day where Greece's favorite son would be under investigation. It is a somber and sad day here in Athens, Greece, and as you can see, people are absolutely shocked. They're walking around dazed, confused. It's just very difficult to explain to you. Take a look around. It's very difficult to explain to you what is happening here in the center of Greece. Even the pigeons in Syntagma are lost. They are absolutely lost. Look at the crowds of protesters who are going to most likely protest the U.S. House Republicans and their decision to investigate Bidenopoulos. So that is the report coming to you from Ground Zero in Athens, Greece. It's Friday. We can have some fun. On a Friday. The real story, to get to some serious news, the real story is that the U.S. House Republicans, they not only opened up an investigation are going to open up an investigation into U.S. President Joe Biden, and they are going to investigate whether the U.S. president was swayed by foreign dollars and the business activities of his family, specifically Hunter Biden. But they are also going to be opening up an audit. They are going to be introducing a bill for an audit of all the money given to Ukraine as well. So that is another move that U.S. Republicans made yesterday. A bad day for the Biden White House, a very bad day for the Democratic Party, and a bad day for Ukraine as well, because as the U.S. Republicans begin their investigation into Joe Biden, they are going to start in Ukraine with Burisma, and as they make their way further in the investigation and the audit of money being given to Ukraine, they are going to end with FTX and its business partnerships and business endeavors, donations and whatnot in Ukraine. So all roads are leading to Ukraine. And the U.S. Republicans, they have a lot of material to work with, that's for sure. Burisma, CFC, the Hunter Biden laptop. Perhaps they can look at the diary. Perhaps they can, what else can they do? Perhaps they can open up a probe, a House Senate committee where they have Fox News broadcast hearings and stuff like that, and they can call witnesses to testify like Hunter Biden or Devin Archer or who else? Christopher Hines, perhaps. Maybe they can call in Porky Poroshenko, who's hanging out in London. Maybe Yatsenyuk, Victoria Nuland, perhaps. Because, to be quite honest, if you go by Trump rules, the investigation against Trump, you can actually now go after a president and go to impeach a president for stuff that they did before they became president. And that's what they did to Trump in the second impeachment. And that's what they can do to Bidenopoulos. They can go after Bidenopoulos for the stuff that he did when he was vice president. They can look into all the activity that was going on in Ukraine when Obama was president and when Biden was making all of the trips to Ukraine. And I said Burisma, but they could also look into the whole quid pro quo with Poroshenko and the prosecutor. You know, that video where Biden is talking about how he withheld $1 billion in aid unless the prosecutor was fired, and the Ukrainian prosecutor was fired, and son of a gun, he fired him. You remember that whole exchange, which is on video, by the way, so it's pretty much a slam dunk, if you ask me. But yeah, they have a lot of material to work with. And if the Republicans really wanted to milk this thing for all it's worth, well, they can make this investigation last all of the remaining 2 years and more for the Biden White House, because, you know, Trump was impeached after he was president. So you can stretch this investigation out to cover the period for when Biden is campaigning, allegedly is going to be campaigning for his second term. So, and beyond. So this is a huge story. This is a huge deal. And we'll see if the U.S. Republicans, the U.S. House Republicans can stay true to their word and really investigate Biden, because this is an absolute slam dunk. No doubt about it. This is going to be, if the U.S. House Republicans really wanted to pursue this, this should be a piece of cake for them to go after Biden. Now, no one is expecting Biden to be impeached, because the Senate, they're not going to actually remove the president. They're not going to vote to remove Joe Biden, especially with guys like, on the Republican side, guys like McConnell and Lindsey Graham, who are buddies with Biden. They're all part of the same uniparty. They were colleagues in the Senate for so long. So I don't think anyone expects the Senate to actually remove Joe Biden, because the Republican rhino senators, they like having Biden as a president. But still, you can make life very, very difficult for the Biden White House in the remaining 2 years of his presidency. And the most important part is, if the Republicans do it right and they start having committees and they start broadcasting these committees on on TV, and they get Fox News to push it and all of these things, and they stretch it out over 2 years, and they call in all kinds of witnesses for testimony and subpoenas and all that stuff. If they do this thing right, they could significantly distract from Biden's wrecking ball agenda. And that just might save the United States, and it just might save the world, because there is going to be a portion of the Biden White House, a very significant part of the Biden White House, that is going to have to deal with the investigation. They're going to have to be preoccupied with the investigation. Of course, the audit of funds that go to Ukraine, well, the Biden White House, they're going to have to be careful now what they send to Ukraine. It's not just going to be a blank check and the money goes. They're going to have to actually account for all of the billions that are going to be sent to Ukraine. Did I say FTX? Yes, I did. And FTX, my God, that's an investigation that could last 10 years if they wanted to, because FTX and SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, Alameda Research, they invested in like hundreds of companies, and they were connected at the hip with Ukraine and the Ukrainian government. So, it starts in Ukraine with Burisma. It starts with Ukraine at the Maidan coup, Nuland, cookies, the Obama coup, Burisma. It all begins there. Joe Biden and his many trips to Ukraine, and then it goes all the way full circle, and it ends with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried and donations for Ukraine and converting the crypto to hryvnia. And I was reading just this morning from the Financial Times that SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, was invested in all kinds of entrepreneurial military projects in Ukraine as well. So, I mean, this thing could last 10 years. It could take 10 years to unravel this money washing, money spinning operation in Ukraine. So, big news from the Republicans. The only thing that I'm worried about is that the U.S. House Republicans will not, go full speed into this. They're gonna be a little wishy-washy. That's what I worry about, because if they really wanted to dig into this, boy, oh boy, could they could really damage the Biden White House. I mean, in a big way. I mean, all kinds of stories come to my mind with regards to Biden and Hunter. And there was the incident with the gun, that Hunter had the gun or something like that, and he threw it in the trash, and Secret Service covered for him. I mean, there's so much material, laptop, text messages, the drugs, the call girls. I mean, my God. But one good thing that they said in their statement yesterday, Jordan and Comer, which I thought was a really smart thing to say, is they said, while this investigation is going to focus on Biden's family and whether the U.S. president was swayed by the business endeavors and dealings of his family, they said that this is not an investigation into Hunter Biden. This is an investigation into President Biden. And I thought that was a very smart thing to say. Though they really shouldn't look at it as Biden being swayed by Hunter and his family and their business activities. In my opinion, it's more like Biden being the patriarch, head of this family. He was the one that was directing his family members to various business deals that were beneficial to this Biden organization. And it is a kind of organization. I think you have a lot of people in and around Biden, not only in the family, not only in the immediate family, but in and around Biden. It reminds me very much of Clinton, but like a lower level Clinton, because the Clinton organization, they took it a step further by creating an entire foundation. I mean, that's when you're with the big boys in corruption. You're top level corrupt when you get to the point of a foundation. That's when you've made it into the Premier League, into the big leagues. Biden, I don't think the Biden organization they didn't really have the smarts to really make it into a foundation. I think they couldn't quite get there. They couldn't quite get to the foundation level, so they stayed at this other level where they were, just sending off family members to make deals with businesses, and then they would provide favors and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely a lot of material they could work with, a whole bunch. And you got Kerry in there, and you got Paul Pelosi Jr., you got Pelosi in there. God, you got so much material to work with. Anyway, Elensky should be panicking at this moment in time. And not only for the investigation, but Elensky is panicking because of this missile strike in Poland. And it looks like the neocons and the neolibs, they may be cutting Elensky loose. They're definitely getting tired of Elensky. And there are reports from CNN, 2 reports actually from CNN that came out the other day. The one report said that after the Ukraine missile hit Poland, after Ukraine attacked Poland, whether it was by accident or whether it was a false flag, I don't really think it matters so much. What's really important is that Elensky was calling for World War III. Christopher Burns was in Kiev. CIA Director Burns was in Kiev. Missile hits Poland. Elensky starts calling for World War III, We have to act now. That was his statement. We have to act now. Russian terrorism, Russian aggression is what he called it. NATO has to act. And we need a no-fly zone, and we need to retaliate. So after this went down, this whole incident, and that's what matters, was the response. I think whether it was an accident or whether it was a false flag, okay, maybe it's important to a certain extent, but the response, the fact that Elensky is so driven, or has been ordered to drive towards war, towards a world war. He's been directed to do that, and I really mean directed, as in a director telling an actor, "This is what you're going to say." The fact that he's doing that, that is what's important. But in his I want to say panic, but as he was reading his lines, as he was delivering his lines, calling for World War III, the narrative around the missile unraveled very, very quickly, because photos were taken, videos started popping up all over the internet, and everyone realized that this was not a Russian missile. This was a Ukraine missile. It was debunked within 4 or 5 hours. Even though the media was running with this story for 24 hours, there's still articles to this day that are on the internet which have the title, "Russia attacks Poland. Russian missiles hit Poland." There's still articles on the internet that say that. And there's still people that believe that Russia attacked Poland. I've seen various comments on my videos on various social network outlets with people saying that Alex, you're spitting out false information because it was a Russian missile that hit Poland. I'm like, dude, it's 2 days removed, and everyone, even Biden, has admitted that it was a Ukraine missile. But anyway, it was as Elensky was reading the script to push the world towards World War III, the Biden White House, well, they had to deal with the fact that, and the entire collective West, they had to deal with the fact that this story of Russia hitting Poland was untrue. And if it was a false flag, well, the false flag unraveled fairly quickly. If this was an accident and the collective West was looking to capitalize on that accident, well, the window to capitalize on that accident closed very quickly as well, because everyone started to understand that this was a Ukraine missile that hit Poland. But Elensky was calling the White House, according to CNN, and Sullivan called Elensky, according to CNN. And as Elensky was giving his statements and speeches, trying to push the world to destruction, Sullivan called Elensky, and he was like, dude, shut the F up. Shut up, Elensky. Stop talking about escalation. It's over. Whatever we thought this was, or whatever accident we thought we were going to capitalize on, or whatever false flag we thought we were going to get out of this, it's over. This has unraveled. And that was Sullivan calling Elensky and telling him to zip it. That's what he told Elensky, and that is according to CNN. Let me find the title of this story, just to make sure I get it right. Inside the U.S., a scramble to run down the facts as the Russia-Ukraine war spills into NATO territory. Sullivan quickly called Elensky's office after Elensky made remarks about escalation and urged officials to tread more carefully with how they were speaking about the incident. Sources familiar with the call said Biden and Elensky did not speak on Tuesday night, despite requests by the Ukrainian leader to arrange a call, a source familiar with the matter said. So that's the second story that CNN ran with. So the first call was from Sullivan to Elensky, telling him, shut up. Shut up with this World War III. Shut up with this escalation. Everyone, the entire world knows that this was a Ukraine missile. Maybe Elensky didn't know because maybe Elensky was still, doing his, how should I frame this? His nasal exercises. He was still doing his nasal exercises, and maybe he didn't realize that the entire world had now seen the missile fragments, and they realized this was an S-300. But the second call was from Elensky to Biden and to the Biden White House. And this time, according to CNN, no one was picking up the phone. Not Biden, not Sullivan. And usually when Elensky calls the White House and asks for Joe Biden, asks for President Biden, usually they'll pass the phone off to, if Biden can't answer and speak with Elensky, they'll pass it off to Sullivan, or in the worst case, they'll give it to Blinken. That's what CNN said. Usually they'll give it to Blinken, and Blinken will deal with Elensky. But this time, no one wanted to speak with Elensky, and they just gave him the silent treatment. That's how upset they were with him. And there are reports saying that the White House, as well as their EU allies and their NATO partners, were upset at the fact that 24 hours after the missile hit Poland, and after the entire world, including the Polish prime minister and president, including Biden, including Stoltenberg at NATO, after all of these leaders came out with statements saying that this was indeed a Ukrainian missile, they were upset at the fact that Elensky doubled and tripled down on the narrative that this was a Russian missile. He still could not concede that this was a Ukraine missile, and everyone was pissed off with him in the collective West. As they should be, because it makes the collective West, it makes Elensky, the puppet that they've been backing for so long, it makes him look like a fool. It makes them look like a fool. It makes him look like a fool. Because here they are, talking up World War III. Then the evidence comes out fairly quickly that we're not going to head towards a World War III scenario. And actually, this was Ukraine attacking Poland. And instead of Elensky just giving it up, just being like, okay, it's done. Whatever we were looking to do, we did. We got $37 billion. We're going to get an air defense system. I should just zip it and just admit that this was a Ukraine missile. Instead of Elensky doing that, he kept on doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on the narrative that Russia had attacked Poland. And the Biden White House was furious. They didn't want to talk to him at all. They didn't pick up the phone calls from him. They told their NATO and EU partners that this guy's losing his mind. No doubt about it. The collective West, the leaders of the collective West, I'm sure that they're looking at Elensky and they're saying this guy is losing his mind. He needs to lay off of the secret sauce that he's been doing, and he's starting to lose it. He is starting to lose it. And just the other day, Elensky came out with a statement, and 2 days removed from this missile, Elensky still can't bring himself to say that it was a Ukraine missile. This is what Elensky said. He said, "I don't know what happened this time. We don't know 100%. We can't say what type of missile the wreckage of which fell on Poland territory was." Still, what are you, 2-3 days removed from this? 3 days removed from this incident. And he still can't say it was a Ukraine missile. He still can't do it. Elensky's in trouble. He is in big trouble with his masters, with his directors, the directors and the producers of this theater, this entire theater. It looks like he's in big trouble with them, very big trouble. So that's not the only trouble that Elensky finds himself in. We are getting reports now that the strikes that Russia made on the electric grid over the past couple of days were really, really devastating for Ukraine. As a matter of fact, Politico runs with a title which says, Ukraine tells allies it may not be able to recover from more Russian attacks on energy. Zelensky notified the West about the lack of spare parts and components needed to restore the energy system and asked for help from several European countries. This is according to Politico. And according to CNN, the title reads, Ukrainian electricity company says 40% of consumers are without power as temperatures drop. The CEO of DTEK, Dmitry Saskharuk, told Ukrainian television that on average, in the country, about 40% of consumers are left without electricity as of now. So this is a catastrophe for Ukraine. If the Russians continue to hit at the electric grid of Ukraine, well then, you may not be looking at just a 40% collapse. You may be looking at a 50, 60, 70, 80% collapse of the electric grid. And what happens when the electric grid for consumers collapses? What do you do then? Well, you're getting a lot of reports which are coming from various cities and city mayors and city council officials and administrators, and they're telling people in these various cities to leave, to go to their village, to go to their dacha, to just get out of the city, to find safe refuge somewhere. But you know what's going to happen? They're not going to go to their dacha. They're not going to go to their village, or at least not all of them. A big portion of them are going to go where? Well, two directions, either northeast to Russia, or west, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Romania. Refugee crisis. That's what's going to happen. And what would happen if Russia continues to hit at the electric grid? People in Ukraine, rightly so, they're going to look to find a safe place to be, and it makes complete sense. It's absolutely, you have to go find a place where you can get through the winter, and the best place for them to go is towards Europe, without a doubt. But what happens if you get a mass refugee outflow from Ukraine, and then I don't know, Erdogan decides to release 1 million of the refugees that he's holding in Turkey? What happens then? Can you say a complete collapse of the European Union? You know, there are reports that you could have upwards of 8 million Ukrainian refugees fleeing to Europe. I actually read reports from Slovakia saying that they've created plans. They've put plans in place, and they've published documents which outline what Slovakia does if they have a refugee crisis, and how they plan to deal with 800,000 refugees flooding into Slovakia. Hungary the same. Hungary is talking about 300 to 500 refugees. If things get really bad, 300 to 500 refugees flooding into Hungary on a daily basis. I mean, this could be an absolute catastrophe. So what the EU needs to do, what the EU absolutely needs to do, but they will not do, but what they need to do is they need to reach out to Russia and to Vladimir Putin and find a way to get some peace. Find a way to get a ceasefire. That's what they need to do, because if this continues, you're going to have a refugee catastrophe in the middle of winter. December, January, February, in that time frame, say January, February, you're going to have an absolute catastrophe. And you know, the European Union, I don't think they have the money. I don't think they have the funds to figure out a way to keep all those refugees in Ukraine. I mean, you know, the Elensky government is saying we need money. We need money to fix our substations and to fix our infrastructure. Does the EU have this money? Do they have the capabilities to do this? And once they fix them, what's to stop the Russians from just taking them out again? You know? Anyway. The EU is in a very, very difficult spot. A very difficult spot. And once again, they're not only at the mercy of Russia, they're at the mercy of Turkey and Erdogan. Erdogan is holding some serious cards against the European Union. That's for sure. If I was Erdogan, I would be like, how much are you paying me to hold the migrants? 10 billion a year? Make that 20 billion. That's what I would do if I was Erdogan. That's the logical thing to do. So, with that being said, let's do, which way should I walk? Let's walk this way. Let's do a clown world, and we'll wrap this up. And this is going to be, a great clown world. Boy, oh boy, is this going to be a great clown world. So we have the video, which everyone thought was satire, a parody, a joke video. I don't know, man. I mean, you have this video from the G20 with Sunak and Trudeau. And supposedly, allegedly, they're talking to Elensky. I don't even know how I'm going to get through this clown world. This video, supposedly, they're on a phone call with Elensky. They have the phone. I guess their iPhone is there. It's on speaker mode. And Trudeau and Sunak, they call Elensky and they pledge their support to Ukraine, and they tell Elensky that they're with Ukraine in these difficult days with regards to the Russian missile and drone strikes. And everyone thought that this was some sort of parody or some sort of joke, because when you look at the video, and maybe I'll play just a snippet of it, because I'm not sure about copyright stuff, so I'll play just a small portion of it, and then I'll put a link to the tweet where you have the video and you can see the whole thing play, because everyone was watching this video and everyone thought this is a joke. This is some sort of parody. This is some sort of prank or something like that. But when you go to the Twitter account of this video, you actually realize that this came from 10 Downing Street. This is the social media account of 10 Downing Street of the UK. So this was official, at least that's the way that I see it. This was an official UK 10 Downing Street social media post. And, you know, it's I'm shocked that they allowed this to go through.
Hello, Vladimir. It's Rishi and Justin. I really wanted you to hear from us as friends.
We absolutely know how difficult yesterday was. It was horrific for you and your country, and we have called it out in the session that we've just had and on the media here this morning.
It's all theater, isn't it? You know that Trudeau was enjoying it. I mean, he was enjoying it. He was getting back into the whole acting thing, you know? So he really enjoyed this. And obviously they weren't speaking to Elensky. That's obvious. But Trudeau was like, this is great. Let's do it. Give me my lines. Where's my script? Oh yeah, I can act this one out. This is fun, everybody. Let's pretend that we're talking to the Ukraine president. Let's pretend that we're showing him all the support. And then Sunak, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Boy, did Sunak come out looking like a complete buffoon from this video. Why did they do this? Why did they stage this? I'll tell you why they staged this. This is what I believe they were thinking. Because everyone was so upset with Elensky, and because of everything that went down in Poland and all of this stuff, and the Biden White House was not taking Elensky's call, and everyone was visibly upset with Elensky. And I think everyone understands that Elensky may be on the way out, that people are getting very frustrated with him. Who else but the UK to come out and stage this kind of video support for Elensky? You know, to me, this was like the equivalent, like just a quicker version of sending Boris to Kiev, you know, to stop negotiations or to provide moral support to Elensky. That's what this was. Whenever Elensky is in trouble, whenever it looks like he's in trouble or he's about to do something that rocks the boat, the UK comes to the rescue. Whether you put Boris on a plane to go to Kiev, or you get Sunak and 10 Downing Street social media to come up with this terrible, ridiculous skit and then publish it on social media. Boy, was it bad. What a bad week at the G20 for Trudeau as well. Trudeau had a bad G20. I mean, really, really bad. You have this video. You had the scolding, the schooling that he got from the Chinese president Xi Jinping, and Trudeau had to like run off crying in at the venue of the G20. He had to leave the conference area and run to, I don't know where he ran to. Maybe he ran back to his room or who knows what. But boy, did he got schooled. He got owned by Xi Jinping, and rightly so, because Trudeau leaked a private conversation to the media, and he didn't even get it right. He manipulated the conversation. What a jerk. What a jerk move that is. I mean, God, these people. And then Trudeau, he was talking to Xi Jinping, and he was trying to be like, he was reading his script once again. He was like, we strive for a democratic, transparent cooperation with China. And Xi Jinping was like, dude, just stop reading your lines, you freaking robot. Stop giving me these canned lines. I mean, it was just brutal. So it was just a bad week for Trudeau. Really bad week at the G20. He embarrassed himself. Why he went along with this? Well, we know why, because he got an opportunity to act. Trudeau loves to act, so he got his opportunity to act. Oh boy, I wonder if Olaf Scholz was in the back there of the hotel as Trudeau ran off. I wonder, as Trudeau ran off and left the conference area, I wonder if he ran into Olaf Scholz somewhere in the back. And Olaf looked at Trudeau and said, "Justin, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" Olaf, you won't believe what just happened. The Chinese president Xi Jinping, he said some very mean things to me. Mean things to you? What did he tell you, Justin? What did Xi Jinping say? Because I was in Beijing a couple of weeks ago, and let me tell you, the Chinese president, he can be tough. I was planning to stay in Beijing for a couple of days, maybe see some sights, go visit some tourist destinations. But after speaking with the Chinese president, I got out of Beijing in 8 hours. I didn't even spend the night there. So I know that he can be a tough character. What did he tell you, Justin? Well, Olaf, it was, you see, Olaf, I leaked the conversation as Blinken instructed us to do. I leaked the conversation, a private conversation that I had with the Chinese president, and I leaked it to the media. But and yeah, I exaggerated it a little bit and I lied a little bit. But Olaf, I was just doing what Blinken instructed us to do. I mean, that's what he told us. You got the Snapchat group message that Blinken sent to all of us, which said, if you speak to the Chinese or Russian delegation, if you have a private conversation with them, well, then leak it to the media and leak it in a bad light. I was just doing what Anthony Blinken wanted me to do, Olaf. Justin Trudeau, you idiot. I know about the Snapchat message that you're talking about because I also got that Snapchat message. But Blinken, he sent another Snapchat message to the entire group. And he told everybody, on second thought, don't speak to the Russian delegation and don't speak to the Chinese delegation. Just isolate and ignore them. You didn't get that Snapchat message, Justin. No, Olaf, I didn't see that Snapchat message. I guess I must have missed it. Oh, Olaf. Xi Jinping is such a mean person. I don't understand why he was so mean to me. Trudeau, I know I've been hard on you, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. I've got some good news. I was speaking to Ursula, and she told me that Russia's economy is in tatters. It is in tatters, and pretty soon, all of this will be over. That went on a little longer than I was planning on having it go on. Anyway, that's the video, guys. TheDuran.locals.com. You can find us on Rockfin as well. And go to the Duran shop, 10% off. Use the code, here we go, use the code, good day.